Hey everybody, and welcome to Let's Look at Antihero. Antihero is a turn-based strategy game very similar to kind of a digital version of a board game. It's not quite, you can't say like, oh, this is like XCOM necessarily. You can't say, oh, this is like, Total War. It's a little bit like Skulls of the Shogun, mixed with steampunk, but it's got a lot of like board game elements translated into the digital realm. And this comes out, it's $15, comes out July 10th, $15 American, I should say. I did get a promo code from the developers whose name has slipped my mind. They are Versus Evil, that is correct, or at least the publisher is Versus Evil. And it looks like it's developed by Tim Conkling, in which case, if this is a one-man or one-man plus contract sort of situation, it's a very ambitious game. Played about an hour and a little bit of it so far. Well, why not Alt-Tab, stop the music. Stop the music! Cut it! I got something to say. I've played 81 minutes of Antihero, exclusively of the campaign, but it does have online multiplayer. I have no idea whether or not it works. And Skirmish, which is like a quick match. But it's very interesting. Slow-paced, methodical, but at the same time, relatively bite-sized strategy games that I think are interesting, although I will say not quite interesting enough to warrant a full series from me. I think a Let's Look At is a better look for us here. So I'll try to do, I'll do one campaign mission that we've already done, and then I'll do one campaign mission that we haven't done and we'll learn. So let's start with chapter, trying to think of one that's like relatively easy here, but doesn't have tutorialization. We'll go with Corrupt Clergy. And we'll just start it up here. So this takes place in like a Victorian kind of like street urchin sort of world. I'll pay you Tuesday for a hamburger. Today I will. And you play as a master thief. That's your character. So essentially you're burgling places, but really that's just a guise for the systems of the game to manifest themselves. Really, you're getting gold, which you use to purchase new units. You're getting lanterns, which you use to advance your tech tree. And you're trying to get a certain number of victory points, which you can achieve through a variety of ways, which we'll explain over the course of the video. We're playing as Lightfinger, and we're playing against Matilda here. Well, I think it's just pronounced Matilda, but anyway. Ignore this. I'll explain this myself in a way that's a little bit more appropriate. So this is our game board here. We can use the arrow keys to pan around, and maybe the mouse as well. I'm gonna do my best to explain things. There's a lot of things going on here, so give me some slack here. First off, it's turn-based. We go, then the enemy goes. They're represented here, we're represented here. This is our economy. Gold is used to buy units. We've unlocked 0 of those so far. And lanterns are used to buy technology, which we can do right here. So usually, the first thing that I pick up at the very least in our technology tree is this thing known as cooking here. Cooking unlocks a new unit called urchins. Urchins infiltrate businesses, and that allows us to get rewards out of them. For example, if we go back to our map here, which we can do like that, if I occupy this trading house or infiltrate this trading house, then I get 1 lantern per turn. Similarly, if I infiltrate this church, I get 1 gold per turn. If I use 1 street urchin. So we'll just start by doing that, but we could also get an extra action for our thief or get a gang that allows us to attack enemy units.
Hello.
So you can unlock more than 1 thing per turn, more than 1 advance per turn, but every single one costs you more lanterns in the process. So it's less efficient, but it can sometimes be appropriate. So we're gonna use our, oh, we have to scout first. Okay, so in order to infiltrate a business, first you have to burgle it, and that's what you do with your master thief. These are the action points. Every action that you take uses action points, and essentially your thief does 2 things, at the beginning at least. They can scout and they can burgle. So we're gonna start by burgling this trading house. Usually it gives you 2 gold on your first burgle, and then 1 gold on subsequent burglings. And then we can now infiltrate with the street urchin, and essentially these are farms from SCVs from StarCraft. They're gonna be our resource generators, but they can be killed or evicted, but we'll just try to avoid that happening. The other thing you can do with your Master Thief is scout. So we're gonna do that. We could burgle as well if we wanted for some extra gold, but we're gonna start by scouting, and we'll try to scout as far as we can. So usually I think you can go 3 tiles through fog. We'll just scout down here. And that should be the end of our turn, which will initiate the end turn phase, which basically is gonna give us a lantern, and then that's it, because we have no other benefits. So it starts a little slow here, but you'll start to figure it out as we go. Now the purpose of the game is to get victory points, so this is actually like a really good opportunity for us to explain them, because as I understand it, at least in every mission there's a couple of different ways you can get victory points, and then there's some unique ones as well. How do you get victory points? hear me out here. One way is to kill assassination contracts. So if we can kill Friar Bumble here by dealing 4 damage to him, we'll get a victory point that never goes away. Similarly, if we spend lanterns, we can buy bribes. Bribes are victory points that never go away. Now, as for victory points that do go away, we could put 3 urchins in a church, and I know like your eyes are probably starting to glaze over. Don't worry about it too much. I'm just giving you the basics for how I'm going to construct my strategy. If we have 3 urchins in a church, we'll get a victory point for blackmail, but that can be taken away from us if we have our urchins evicted. And that's all you really need to know right now. So what I'm going to do is structure the strategy in such a way that we can either kill really easily, or we can infiltrate really easily, and we're going to try to get victory points that way. And in the meantime, you know, we're trying to discover where the enemy is. Maybe we're going to try to evict them to screw up their economy. I don't think you can kill the Master Thief, because the Master Thief always goes back to base at the end of a turn, but anyway, we here's what I'm going to do on this turn. First, we might try to get extra burgling power, which is actually, as in safecracker. So I'm going to start by getting a scout, which gives me 1 additional action on my Master Thief. So now I have 3 actions instead of 2. I'm going to burgle this church. That's going to give us some money.
For me.
That's going to allow us to have enough money to buy an urchin.
Hello.
I'm going to get the urchin to infiltrate the church, and now we've got a little bit more economy coming, right? And then I'm going to try to scout some more stuff that could be good for us here. Like, for example, we can at least scout, although if we discover this guy, it might stop our scouting. All right, I'm going to go this way then. We're going to scout up to here. By the way, this is actually very important, and I didn't say it. Once you have something scouted, all units can move freely along those tiles. So really, scouting is the way that they restrict your movement in the early game. It's not like, oh, walking 4 steps takes a movement point. If it's unscouted, only the thief can go there, and then after it's scouted, anybody can move there. So we got 1 action left. We're gonna burgle just this building right here. See what it is. There's an estate. I actually don't know what estates are. They can't be infiltrated. I think they can only be burgled, but they give you more rewards. So we have more gold, but we can't do anything with it right now. I think we're gonna end our turn, at which point we'll get 1 gold, 1 lantern, and that'll do it. We could buy more urchins, by the way, but every time you purchase a unit, the next purchase of that unit on that turn becomes more expensive. So effectively, we could have 1 turn where we buy a ton of urchins and then use them to try to like infiltrate a bunch of churches to win the game all at once, but it's gonna cost us a lot, so we wanna make sure our math is correct there. And the assassination contracts move around. So we're probably gonna try to get some assassination contracts done, especially the early ones should be relatively easy. So we have a few actions here. We're gonna start by recruiting a gang. What is Lamplighter? +1 lantern. I really like Lamplighter, though. I'm going to get that first. Basically, that just gives us a passive lantern per turn to advance our technology. So I'm going to go scouts up to here. And then I'm going to burgle this place, which will scout it. And it's another estate? I really want to get, like, a church, but I don't want to have to fight this guy. Even though it'll give us gold. We'll do it later. It's fine. The thing is, and then this is getting a little bit like you don't need to know it yet, but effectively, we use our gangs to kill things, and every time our gang kills something, they level up. So we want to use our gangs to kill things as much as possible. We can scout some more. We could burgle, but we could also scout. He hurt, but he also, he attacked, but he also protect. That's it. So we're gonna scout so we can see a little bit more of what's going on here. All right. And we might as well buy an urchin because, you know, we're going to get taxed if we buy 2 of them next turn. And we'll just have him infiltrate here. If you get 3 urchins, you get a special ability from the building. So the trading houses will give us 2 lanterns. The churches will give us a victory point that can be taken away, etc., etc. So anyway, this was kind of like a botched turn. But I hope I'm doing a decent job of easing you into an explanation of how things work, because once you get it, at first you're like, oh my god, trading houses, estates, guard towers, there's so many different units and so many different buildings, and oh, like urchins can be evicted, but only if you have, you know, a truancy officer or a gang that has an eviction ability. But you actually pick it up really easily, and the game does a good job of tutorializing it, although it does suck if you, because the tutorials are kind of free-flowing, they're not that handholdy, I guess is what I mean. They give you a little agency. What does suck is that if you start failing a mission, like you make a mistake halfway through a tutorial, you have to go all the way back to the beginning in order to revert that mistake instead of just like reverting a turn. So it's a little inelegant in that way, and sometimes that can lead to, you know, doing some duplicated actions over and over that you don't necessarily feel like you're unqualified for. But anyway, I digress to some extent. So we got our lantern economies set up pretty good now. We can get an additional action, but I don't really want to do that. We can unlock new units, but we don't have to do that yet. Let's start by getting a gang, which I did not click on.
Oh, yeah.
So the gang is Daniel Day-Lewis from Gangs of New York. It attacks enemies. It protect, but it also attack. It's true. Basically, this is a unit that gets fat like Dota style. So what we want to do is give it kills, and then by giving it kills, it will get stronger, and then we can use it to, once its power level gets higher, to finish these assassination contracts for us and get us victory points that can't be taken away. So we're going to scout this area. This is just basically an NPC, like a third-party thug. So we're going to have our gang member attack him, and we'll get a coin. And then you can choose how to level it. Either to evict more urchins, which we probably won't do, get extra damage, which we will do right now, or get more gold per kill, which can be valuable as well, because it doesn't cost us much to hire a gang. You can only have one on the field at a time until you get the next level of tech. But anyway, we're just going to go for damage so that we can theoretically assassinate the contract soon. Then we're going to burgle the church. Remember, it's all about getting our economy up. Imagine it's just a strategy game at this point, which is why I'm a sucker for these kinds of games, and it's why I've kind of, I think, responded to this one pretty warmly right off the bat. Even though some of the systems are a little obtuse, or it seemed like they might be a little obtuse, it's actually fairly elegantly done. So we have one more action here. I'm going to try to scout and burgle simultaneously. And there we go. We found a bank. So banks, if you put 3 urchins in them, they give you 3 coins. As opposed to the church, if you put 3 urchins in it, that gives you the blackmail. So we're done on this turn. The problem with our gangs is that our gangs can be killed. They only have 2 HP, and it's attacker's advantage. So if, well, they only have 2 HP for now, and it's attacker's advantage. So if they have a gang or any other unit that can deal 2 damage, it could just kill my gang, and then I'd have to resummon it for 3 right now, which would not be too likely. This is still, I think, the relative early game of the campaign, but a criticism that I do have is I've gone through a couple of campaign missions basically never seeing the enemy. So it sometimes does sort of feel like you're actually playing an adversarial game solo. You just know that they're doing something, but they're shrouded in the fog of war. But maybe I'm actually, like, not using scouting properly, which I could also see as being a case. So I'm going to try to keep making our gang a little bit stronger. They don't really, like, the AI doesn't, no, I shouldn't say AI. The NPCs don't really attack you, by the way. It's just the other team that'll do it. So these guys just exist to be experienced, basically. So we're going to take another kill, and we're going to get to 3 damage. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick this upgrade here called Dagger. What that allows us to do is actually do 1 damage with our Master Thief, so I can use them to weaken them and then get the kill with our gang. And we want the gang to get the kill because then they'll get the level up. Anyway, we might even pick up a second upgrade on this turn because we can. Like, we have 3 lanterns left. So let's get brewing. And what brewing does is it gives you a thug. You can use the thug to block pathways. Like, if I move him up here, then they can't scout past this point. They're gonna have to kill this guy and it'll cost them an extra action. But the other thing you can do is have a thug join a gang, and then you get 3 HP instead of 2 HP. And you can keep having more thugs join anyway, but I digress. I think I want to avoid information overload if possible. So I want to try to scout this bank so we can get an urchin in there. By the way, if you see red footsteps, that means the enemy can actually see you. Or not can see you, but has seen this area. So that means if I put a unit here that's vulnerable, they could send somebody down here to kill it, because remember, you can move for free on tiles that you've already seen. So for now, I'm just gonna burgle, get some extra gold.
Is that all?
But it also means that they can't, we know that our urchins down here are safe for now from being evicted because they haven't seen it yet. So they won't be able to send anything down here for a little while. And the same goes for our gang, probably. So we got 7 gold. Let's hire a street urchin, and we'll just have him go into this building, so we get 2 lanterns per turn. And then we might as well get another street urchin, and we'll just have him hang out in the far church for now. I think that the strategy that I'm going to employ is, like, I don't want to earn victory points from churches until I know those victory points are going to give us the win, because they can be taken so quickly. It's like, you ever play Settlers of Catan, and you get, like, the longest road or the largest army cards? Those victory points can be taken away from you. They're transient, so you want to make sure, if possible, that you're not giving anybody else the chance to take it away before you can leverage them for victory yourself. So we do see the AI now. The enemies, I should say. The other thing is we don't know. They could be infiltrating, like, a ton of churches right now. We would have no idea what kind of situation they're in. They could be close to winning, although they're probably not. So the first thing we're going to do here is scout this area. And we can see the assassination contract. So we're going to smack him. Remember, they don't attack back. And then we're going to use our gang.
Sure.
By using the gang, we're going to pick up the kill, and that's going to give us a victory point because we completed our assassination contract. Now, what's cool is that... We're going to go for more damage still. What's cool is that you get more and more... I wish I could smack you, but I can't smack you. We're actually blocked off in, like, a lot of areas here, but we can at least look at this. Strange Fellows Club. It gives you extra thug health? I can't remember. We can't burgle it either, so we can't infiltrate it yet. Every bribe becomes more expensive. The bribes are the victory points you can buy. Every assassination contract becomes harder to do, so the next enemy should have 5 HP, maybe even 6 HP. I would like to buy our first bribe because it's very cheap. So we want to make sure we have 5 lanterns available on the next turn if possible to buy it. So we'll have 6 if we buy nothing. If you don't want to buy anything, you can also get charity. And charity just gives you either lanterns or gold depending on your perspective or what you're looking for. So let's start by getting some extra gold here. I didn't actually click on it. And we want extra gold because it gives us the ability to get more merchants, basically. Or more urchins is what I mean to say. So I'm going to start by hiring a thug. Send the thug to join the gang. Who's going to give us 4 HP. So nothing's killing that guy anytime soon. And then we might as well, like, get our... not keep all our eggs in one basket. We'll get another urchin over there. And we can't hire another gang because you can only have 1. So yeah, you slip into this kind of, like... If you play it properly, I think, you start to generate a strategy and play along that strategy, and it's actually quite satisfying. It doesn't feel, and I feel this sometimes in especially indie strategy games, they're almost like a little too precious. Oh, she got the bribe before I did. A little too precious, a little too obfuscated. Like, there was a strategy game called Archon, that was like, it allowed you to time travel, and I was like, this is a genius game that is no fun to play. No offense meant, but no fun for me to play. This is simple enough, but yet has enough interlocking systems that I find myself engaged without being overwhelmed, at least in the early game here. So our next bribe is more expensive, unfortunately for us. We might want to go to a different plan now. So there's many different things we could tech into here. We can get a saboteur, which booby traps our buildings. We can make our thugs stronger. We could get our thief to be stronger, which means they get, like, to 4 and 5 actions. We can also make them do more damage with reinforced steel and poison blade. Or safecracker allows us to get more gold from burgled buildings. So if we're gonna burgle buildings on this turn, that's probably what we should get. Where's the assassination contract? He's in here. So we actually can kill him this turn. So let's start by doing that. So we're gonna scout up. And then we're gonna attack. And then we're gonna have our gang attack as well. And they hit max level on damage at this point, so they can't do any more damage. Instead, we're gonna pursue gold per kill. Alright. So we could get 2 more victory points, like, instantly. Basically, by summoning an urchin here and an urchin here, and then taking charity if we need to get the money. But we probably can't quite win on this turn. So let's scout a little bit more. We'll see if that's a church next turn, and I'll tell you what. Let's take an extra action on this turn because it doesn't look like we're gonna be buying bribes, and then we'll burgle this building. And it's another estate. I really wanted that to be a church. I still think we should hire an urchin because if we hire 2 next turn, we're gonna have to pay the tax. So we'll acquire some blackmail there. We're 2 points away from victory, which I actually think is pretty conceivable that we'll get it done on this turn. Economy's still going strong. You don't have a great idea of how the enemy's doing, but you can sort of see the parameters that they're dealing with here. Like, we know that we're stronger on lanterns and on gold, but she did also spend 5 lanterns last turn, so... Thugs just expire, by the way. He didn't die. Because the... Oh, she got another... she got a blackmail point there. Because, wait, did she get another blackmail point? No. Because this assassination contract is actually, like, surrounded on all sides, I don't know if we're going to be able to get to them on this turn. We could make ourselves deal more damage with our existing lanterns, though. Let's see. Maybe if there's a will, there's a freaking way, right? I think we have our gang kill their gang. Oh, we're blocked by... Okay, I see. Here's how you do it. Your... thief kills their thug. Checkmate. Then your gang kills their gang, which is not going to give you that much gold necessarily. I think it gives you 3 or 4. Oh, just 2, and maybe it's the amount that they've held or something. And then we're going to go for more gold per kill. And then, like, their gang's dead. They have to summon it. It's going to cost them 3 gold. So that was a 5 gold swing right there. That's not insignificant, I think. We have 10 gold. We could easily get 1 more victory point. Is there any way we get 2 on this turn? I don't think so, because we can't get to that church, and we can't attack anybody else. So I think first things first, I'll eat your brains, then I'll start rocking gold teeth and fangs. We're going to scout the Strange Fellows Club, which has given us a lantern. Oh, can we get the bribe? We can get the bribe. There you go. So now we just need 1 more victory point, and I think we got it.
Hello.
Oh, but we can't get there. Where you? I have sent you to nowhere. Well, you might as well infiltrate the Strange Fellows Club. I don't even know what this does to the thugs, so they're cheaper now. Okay. Thugs can't attack, which is why, although I wish I could, there's nothing I can do about this here. Because our Master Thief has already attacked this turn as well, so we could just, like, do some extreme burgling. Or we could scout to try to find a new area. I think we should just burgle, get some resources. It's another 2 gold. Burgle this place, get another 2 gold. You can see there's good trade-offs. You know, you don't have an unlimited number of actions of each type, and you have to kind of structure your run towards a strategy. And, you know, we're kind of going for this urchin spamming strategy that has worked out okay. I don't think we're going to be able to win on our next run, by the way. All right, I think we're going to be able to win on our next turn, but I don't think we're going to be able to win via the Assassination Contract. I think the only, the best hope that we have is we don't get evicted from anything, we kill this guy, send an urchin into the church, and we should be good to go. Let's see. Well, no, she might be able to kill this guy and then evict us from this church, which would be bad for business. But she also freed up a space. My gang! She got killed, or they got killed by a one-time use assassin. But it doesn't matter. We're still going to get the win here. The assassin, it dies after 1 turn, but it does 6 damage. So pretty cheap for getting contracts done, or I guess assassinating our gang, although it ended up being irrelevant. So this should give us our final victory point. So there's a lot that I like about Antihero. I like that there's multiple different ways to accomplish your objectives. I like that it's not just like one contested objective on the map. Like, we could, I don't know if it's rock, paper, scissors necessarily, but we could be pursuing objective X and enemy, or our enemy could be pursuing objective Y. We might never actually interact with one another, but we're still competing against one another indirectly, as if it's like, you know, off-world trading company or something like that. And I like the aesthetic, I like the art. It reminds me a lot artistically of Skulls of the Shogun. And I know I said I was going to do 2 campaigns here, but I forgot that every mission goes to like 25 minutes. But yeah, usually, as I say, it's a pretty good sign if I don't talk very much about how much I like the game while I play it, because it means that I'm enjoying playing it. And that's pretty much true here. I'm not giving, like, two very enthusiastic thumbs up to Antihero, but what I am saying is I think this is a totally solid strategy game. Reminds me a lot of a digital board game. If the online multiplayer actually works, I don't know anybody else who has this right now, but if the online multiplayer actually works, that could be cool. And skirmish mode is something I doubt I'd really touch, but even just working your way through the campaign, it seems, despite the fact that it might be a little bit on the shorter side, although admittedly I'm not totally sure, the map to me looks like this is like a 10-chapter map, but maybe it gets deeper and deeper as time goes on. In fact, you know what? Let's do our research and check the store page here. In-game leaderboards, take over the city, challenge your friends, set up custom house rules, that's cool, play through the story-driven campaign. It doesn't say how many missions there are, but anyway. Either way, it seems appropriately priced. It's actually like a pretty robust strategy game in terms of its mechanics at a relatively cheap price. That might be counteracted by the fact that it might be a little bit shorter. Like, I think about comparing this to, like, The Political Machine or Political Animals or something like that, and this definitely strikes me as a more polished and enjoyable product than either of those. And quite a good deal of fun as well, if you're the kind of person who's into it. It's not action-packed, it's very slow-paced, and, you know, be prepared to have some trial and error as you learn the systems. The tutorials can be a little bit... I don't think they're bad tutorials, I just... You know, when you go through like 5 minutes of a tutorial and then they go, okay, now win, and then you lose and you have to go through the 5 minutes of tutorials again, I'm kind of like, I don't want to, I know how to set up a farm. Anyway, you get the idea. This is Antihero. It's pretty cool. Check it out if you're interested. There will be a link in the video description below. For now, thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the episode. If you did, click the like button. It helps out a great deal. And of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. But for now, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.